Hello, this is Absolute Zero, Defender of the Universe, and I'm back with another classic hip hop review. This week we have Wu-Tang Clan Enter the 36 Chambers. Now, I've got to say, this album is like a very, very special album to me. It is, it's very, very dear to my heart. And to get into a little bit of the history of this album, it came out in 1993, which makes me 2 years old at the time of this album release, which is kind of like crazy in and of itself. At the time period, West Coast hip hop was dominating the charts, and Wu Tang Clan came in as one of the people bringing back, you know, a popular wave of New York rap. And not only was it, a return to New York, but they also brought with them like a just raw, uncut type of aggression and lyricism that was just super, super dope. And just, you know what I mean, to cut against the trend towards more cleaner, more polished, more, I don't want to say poppier, but like, you know what I mean? More like cutting back on the cleaner elements, going back to just the essentials of what makes for really, really dope hip hop records, which is just, really raw lyricisms and really, really, really menacing beats from RZA. Really crazy album. For anyone who doesn't know, Wu Tang Clan consists of 9 members: RZA, Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Method Man, Raekwon, Ghostface, Inspector Deck, You God, and Master Killer. Capadonna would later join the group, but this group, when you just look at the artists on here, it is just this organic rap supergroup. Most of them hailing out of Staten Island. I know that Old Dirty Bastard came out of Brooklyn, but it was just the amount of talent in this group is just on such a high order, man. It's hard to even compare and say that there's anyone to compare to Wu Tang Clan. It's just so many dope rappers in one group. It's absolutely insane. Like I said, this album was really special to me. When I started listening to hip hop, which was around in high school, this was actually like the first hip hop record that I listened, like 100% through and enjoyed. Like this really started me down the journey of liking hip hop to begin with. Like at the time, you know what I mean? I was maybe like 2006, 2007. Wayne was really, really, really popping. Actually, it might have been earlier than 2006. Now I think about it, maybe 2005. But Wayne was really popular. I'd given up on radio rap because even back then the radio was really, really, really terrible. Like I wasn't really feeling anything that was, in the mainstream, rap. At what I mean, all the popular stuff wasn't really vibing with me. And I was listening more to jazz music. I was listening to Miles Davis and Coltrane and all these like jazz essentials. And when I got this album, it really, opened my eyes and like made me start to like change my ideas of what hip hop was and what it could be, and just a whole new level of lyricism. You know what I mean? That I didn't have really any exposure to before I listened to this. So you know what I mean? It was really, really, really uh, influential for everything that I did and what I would like gravitate to musically going forward. Now, really, to get into the top songs on this album is really, 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 really difficult because this is one of those albums that the whole album is dope. like like the whole album is dope. Like the whole album is filled with these super anthemic songs that people to this day will still go to a concert and want to hear live because they're that iconic. You have Shame on a Nigga, Can It All Be So Simple Then, Cream, Method Man, Protect Your Neck. These songs are so, you know what I mean? They're so rugged, they're so raw. The lyricism is intense with every single track. There's really not that many points in the album where you're like stopping and slowing down. It's just bars after bars after bars. It's nine lyricists, and they all bring it on like each one of these tracks. It's absolutely insane. Okay, Shame on a Nigga is probably the most recognizable track off this album. It features all the members. It's probably the best track to just introduce Wu Tang Clan. You have like an old dirty bastard who is just a crazy character in and of himself. Like his style is just so original, singing these off key, like really, really soulful, hooks, and he's just a monstrous lyricist, man. Drops this Shame on a Nigga hook, and everybody just proceeds to go in on the track. It's just really rugged, really in your face, edgy, swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider Man. It's in your face. It has all these, comic book and just freaking kung fu references everywhere. Because Wu Tang Clan really, emphasize, bringing in this coded language and mixing in their influences of comic books and kung fu flicks. Let's let shout outs to the homie Silent Hands. When you look at a track like Can It All Be So Simple, you get, a more introspective song. It's probably the most, introspective cut on the whole album. You have Raekwon and you have Ghostface, and they're really, really, taking you down to the block level and just explaining where they come from. You know what I mean? Where people are desperate, they're trying to sell drugs to change their situation, and you can kind of see the start of like their later works where they kind of do this drug mafioso rap, and they like kind of like bring it down from like street level and like raise it to higher and higher levels. It's really, really cool to see a track like this where they're giving you a different perspective, and just being really genuine with street lives and the negative framing that a lot of times nowadays you don't even get. It's just like people seem like they love being in the trap house nowadays. I don't even really understand where this is coming from, but you know what I mean? It really, really resonates with me. I'm not about that life, but just the passion by which they deliver these lines is just really, really dope. Really, really insightful, really interesting bars. It's really, really crazy track. Same thing goes for Cream. Was once again, Ray and Ghost come with crazy verse. You know what I mean? Cash rules everything around you. You know what I mean? Like just that concept itself, man, has been reused and like recycled so much through hip hop. You know what I mean? And this is like not necessarily. I don't know if they necessarily invented the phrase or anything like that, but this is definitely, you know what I mean, the major references point for this idea and this concept, which comes over and over again. And just once again, man, like they just keep it so, raw and rugged, with the lyrics on this one. Raekwon just comes in to the verse and delivers probably like one of the most memorable like rap openers that out of all of Wu. I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side, staying alive, there's no jive. Come on, like that whole set is just crazy ridiculous, man. They just go super in on it. Like there's not that many, you know, like rappers that just can keep you so hooked, and like every single line. And Ray and Ghost just are amazing at like bringing you down to the street level and just really having that passion with it. The beat is fucking out of control. Like it's really, really somber, really, really, you know, it gets you in like just the mood to think, man. Like Castro's everything around me. It's just fucking crazy concept and you know, amazing song. Then I will definitely have to make a talk for a moment about Method Man. He gets his own track on out of a group of nine, and he really shows why he deserves it, man. Method Man on like any individual verse is one of the sickest MCs I've ever seen, especially when he's come in his competition mode. I can't speak as much for his solo albums, but my goodness gracious, Method Man like will rip a 16, and that's what he does on Method Man. It's just really, really ridiculous, over the top lyrics. The METHOD, man. Hey, you, get off my stop. Like, just come on. Like, dude, this is ridiculous with the flow and the delivery and the breath control. And his voice, man. He has to have like one of the top 10 voices in all of hip hop. Like just so freaking raw and fucking menacing. It's fucking amazing. The last song I'm gonna talk to you about is another posse cut off the album, Protect Your Neck. And this is also one of these songs that, still this day, if you see them in concert, they're definitely performing this track. It's so, fun and over the top and just really, 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 showcases each member of Wu Tang Clan and what their individuality and personality. And that's really, really cool when you can have nine MCs and each one of them can have their own style and be unique and really actually stand out from one another. When you know what I mean, not saying that this group is bad, but like Bone Thugs, or if you have some other groups that they're really, really all sound the same or similar. It's cool because a lot of them develop these styles together. But Wu Tang Clan is really nine top out rappers on this, and it just shows up in each one of these songs because they are really passionate about what they're saying, and it really, really makes these group cuts come off with real high amount of energy, real high amount of creativity, a real high amount of just flavor, in every single verse. It's ridiculous. As far as like bad tracks, as far as on this album, there really isn't any bad tracks. Like all of the tracks are amazing. Even the freaking the interludes are dope. They're mostly like these radio interviews where they're trying to like get an idea of who Wu Tang Clan is, and they just really go in and give their philosophy about like who they are and how they're gonna be different in hip hop. Which honestly, this is their debut, and they're talking about staying big and taking over and really having longevity, and they actually achieved that, thanks to a lot of planning from the RZA and, a lot of people working hard to achieve that. The only track that I'm not like super crazy about is Wu Tang Clan Seventh Chamber Part 2. Not a bad song. It's a pretty good song. By most rapper standards, this would be a pretty dope song. It's just when it's on this album next to all of these ridiculously amazing songs, it doesn't hold up as much. It doesn't pop out as much in your memory. The beat is a little bit it's a really muddy beat, which is not too different from the rest of the beats on this album. All of them are really like muddy, really like lo-fi, gritty type beats, but it just didn't have like enough of that pop as the other ones did with as far as like concepts. and just witty one-liners to really like put it above the top. But when you look at this album, like Wu Tang's influence is crazy. One of the top has to be one of the top five most influential rap groups in hip hop. They've been responsible for a crazy amount of classic and essential hip hop albums. If you look at the camp like Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links, when you look at Ghostface, Supreme Clientele, and Iron Man, to Cal, Return to the 36 Chambers. All of these guys just have so much, richness to their styles and deliveries and their content that it's like still enjoy most of the stuff they're bringing out today. You know what I mean? And that's not even talking about, the influence that RZA's production style had on, producers, because I can't really think of someone who is producing with tracks like this before RZA, and just the way that they incorporated the kung fu cuts into the instrumental were just really 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 just gave it this unpredictability and this super amount of flavor and framing. They just did a lot of really cool stuff. The coded language that they continued, the having multiple rap names. I know that Ghostface and freaking Method Man, come up with all of these, names to call themselves and go all over this track. There's just so much little details that you can come back and dissect over and over again. And even on the first listen, there's so many like really, zingy punchlines and one-liners that are just, out of control, and they're really witty, really smart, really clever. You have, Old Dirty Bastard, coming up with new styles and flavors, and it's hard to even like wrap or limit or even contain how much influence, this album and this group had. It's just that much. You know what I mean? You have, a lot of the mafioso rap, originates with Ghostface and Raekwon. So, you know what I mean? And this is just the launching point. I know it would be further expanded on later projects, but, this project just so much influence. It's absolutely insane. If you like this project, if you want some new artists who were influenced by Wu Tang Clan, I would suggest you checking out Action Bronson, Mr. Motherfucking Esquire, Capital Six, Joey Badass. If you want some older, records that are more in this sound, I would definitely look out for MF Doom, Organized Confusion, Onyx, and Mob Deep. This is Absolute Zero, man. This is just my thoughts on the album. If you guys have a history with this album or you love this album, never heard this album, I'd love to hear it. Talk to me in the comments, message me on, social media. I'd love to hear back from you. It's Absolute Zero, Defender of the Universe, and I'll see you in space. Peace.